Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Bob Miller with another edition of the Practice Gratitude Success Show. And thank you so much for coming. All the people that we have here today, we have a big crowd. We have Happy Hunter Terry. Thank you for coming. Nicole, thank you so much. Jackson, Christy, Len, thank you for being here, guys. Tara, thank you so much for coming. We have another angel that's coming in here today. It's like we're having all these angels that are surrounding us, and I always feel good when I have angels around me. So anyway, so today our guest today is Lisa Joe Davis, our guest co-host. Lisa Joe Davis had a near-death experience, and I really want to hear about that. But she's a spiritual advisor. She has her own little group. She's got a website out there. I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. She's a good friend of Happy Hunter Terry, and that's how we made that whole connection and everything like that. I'm actually part of their little group they've got going right now. It's a 30-day of loving yourself sort of a thing where you post pictures in there of what of making yourself feel better about yourself and loving yourself. We need to start from that place first. So I'm really proud to introduce our host today, our guest host today, Lisa Joe Davis. Thank you so much for coming, Lisa.
Thank you for having me, Bob. I'm so happy to be here.
I was kidding you yesterday. I'm saying you're gonna be in the hot seat today. We're gonna just it's like 60 minutes here. It's like 2020. We're gonna get to the bottom of all this sort of stuff and see what's going. You said please don't be too rough.
Yes, I did.
It's not like that at all. We're here just to help people share their gifts and tell their stories. I'm really excited to hear about your near-death experience, though, because I had one, and I don't talk about that very often, but I did, and so I'm really excited. Can you share what happened?
Sure. It was about a year and a half ago, and I woke up in the morning and I had extreme pain in my stomach, abdominal area, and I ended up having to go by ambulance. And the pain was very bad. And when I got there, before I left, what it ended up being, I'm sorry, I'm nervous. I had spontaneous internal bleeding. And I went to 3 hospitals in 5 days, and I lost about 3 pints of blood inside of me. And when they did the CAT scan and everything, it just showed that it was in an area where they couldn't go in to do surgery because it would cause more issues. And I had collapsed veins. So as they were trying to find a vein, it was really impossible because I had lost so much blood. And I was praying to God, please, help me in my mind. And, I was going, Jesus, and I was going down the list, the Archangels and everything. And when I was in the hospital, it was kind of scary because you heard them, I could hear them talking about me either living or, I might pass away. And I was going in and out of consciousness, and it was very scary. And at this point, they had given up on my arms, so they were going into the chest to see if they could actually, find a vein in there that they could go in. And it was when I actually spoke the words out loud, dear God, please help me. Archangel Raphael, please help them. The needle actually went in very easily, and they were able to finally give me some fluids and other things that way. But it was very scary. I didn't see a white light, and I didn't have a hand coming out to me. But what I can say is when I was going in and out of the consciousness, after I had, asked for the angels to come forward and help me, and God and Jesus, I had this overwhelming, whenever I would get scared, I would have this overwhelming, my whole body would just be very warm. And I heard in my mind, and it wasn't my voice, that everything was going to be okay. And so that was very reassuring to me. I thought maybe I was going a little crazy, but then I thought, well, it's not my voice. And that's kind of how things went from, my near-death experience and everything. My blood pressure dropped extremely low, and there was a lot of concerns on whether I was going to make it or not. So, but you can see I did.
Yeah. Obviously, you're here. That's incredible, because your story kind of sounds like mine. It sounded like, I mean, I don't know if I've ever even really talked about mine on camera or anything like that, but it was, I didn't see anything. I didn't, like, nobody came to me. I didn't like go to the white light or anybody come, but it was a blue light. Actually, it was a blue light feeling for me.
Mm.
Blue light feeling, and the same words. You and your family are gonna be okay. That was that was the only time during this whole experience. Mine went on for like a couple of days. My brain was bleeding. I was having a stroke, and they couldn't stop it. It was just like I mean, I was definitely on the way out. And but that's what it was. It was like, so, and it was the only time during that whole ordeal that I felt really good. And I mean, I still had a real long a lot of bad things after that. But so I know what you mean. So, somebody somewhere said something to you to let you know that you're going to be okay. So that's awesome. That's so cool. Now I want to hear what was this whole spontaneous bleeding? What was that all about?
You know, actually, they thought my husband was the problem, and I kept
Oh
saying
no.
no, no, no. And they would send other people in, and ask me the same thing in all these the same question, but different ways. And my husband's so loving and caring and everything. We'll be married in June for 30 years. And I kept telling her, I haven't been hit, I didn't fall, because they were just trying to make sense of anything so that they could help me. And, I couldn't give them any answers because I hadn't fell. My husband was very caring and loving. He would never even raise his hand up to me. So they were just really confused as to why all this was happening. And even today, even after all of this, they still don't know. And you spoke about the recovery being very painful. And for me, it was very painful. I left the hospital and I couldn't hardly even walk. I ended up coming home and my family wanted to get me a wheelchair. And I'm like, put me in the computer chair and wheel me that way. I'm not going to buy a wheelchair. And I was like very determined, don't bring that thing in the house. And I graduated probably about 6 months later. I was able to actually walk with a cane. So I went from not walking, hardly at all to the computer chair and then a walker and then a cane. And last year I went on my first 2-mile walk. And it was took a long time and it was painful, but I knew that I was coming a long ways. If you compare yourself from the beginning to now, it's been a long journey. And I really started feeling myself again about 8 months afterwards, where I could, dress myself without any problems or issues and everything. But it was very scary. And so I really wish I could tell you how it happened, but I don't know.
That's the craziest part is not knowing. I mean, with mine, I knew. I mean, it's okay. You're having a brain hemorrhage, your brain bleeding. So there's something you can identify. But for you, for like spontaneous, I never even heard of that before.
I know, it's crazy. And I did ask the angels. I said, "Why did all this happen to me?" And they're like, "Because you wouldn't slow down." And I'm like, that's crazy. That doesn't make any sense. But now it does. That I was so busy in life with everything else that I wasn't focusing more on myself like I should have been. I wasn't taking care of myself as well as I should have been, or the way I used to. And I think it was a time for me to slow down and have a reflection of my life and my purpose. And I said, God, what is it that you want? You let me live. So what is it that you want me to do? Please show me. And, from there, I had got a invitation to host some angels in my home, and I accepted that. And from that point on, my life really changed.
Wow. So is that one? Were you into the whole angel thing before this happened, or
I always enjoyed the angels and everything, but not like I am now. It's a whole different level, and I hear them talking to me where before I never heard anything. I heard my intuition, and I think that they probably were prompting me that way. But I never, I never studied them. I just thought they were nice and angelic, and everybody has an angel, and that's kind of the
Right.
extent of it.
And some believe it, and some don't. It's I always thought it was more of a religious thing, and then I was brought up Catholic, so we always believed there was we had an archangel, like we had a guardian angel, then there's the archangels, Michael and Gabriel and all those guys, the Ninja Turtles, and all those people that are there to help you. But I never. I mean, I'm learning more now from all the people, like from Terry and all you people. So now you actually do the time healing thing as well?
Yes, I do the time heals, and it's a theocentric interactive magnetic energy, and it's aligning your chakras and removing blockages and making sure that the flow, the energy flow in your body is coming through the correct way and supporting you. So I learned the healing abilities actually came after I started the group hosting the Archangels. I wanted to show appreciation to them, not to worship them, but to show appreciation that they were with me during that time. And the moment I decided to do that, I kept hearing in my mind to start a group. And I was saying, I haven't even hosted the Archangels. How am I going to start a group?
Hmm.
And when they want to get their message across and you're not getting it, it's like a recording. You just hear it. Oh, for me, I just hear it over and over and over. And I started the group, it was last year, and February, I started the group, and to give other people support in a place where they could also host the Archangels, where you invite them into your home for 5 days and nights. And you just kind of have an interaction with them if you choose. And it's very nice, and it's a very lovely experience. And then after I started doing that, I would hear messages in the morning, and I would type them out what the messages were, and I would pass them on to the group. And then I heard that I was going to start healing. So a few of my friends, I gathered around and used them as guinea pigs, and I started doing what I was told, or what I felt like I was being led to do. And I did it remotely, so they lived in another state, and they would share their experiences. And I started, doing long distance healings. And I had actually met Terry Miller in one of the other groups, and she's one of the administrators in the hosting the Archangels. And when she introduced the time heals modality, it was like, I'm interested, because I had no formal training. And like Aaron was talking yesterday about having the credentials and all the fancy little initials on the letterhead. I had nothing like that. So when she introduced me to this, I was happy to get trained that way. And it was a lot of the same things I was already doing. It was just more of a formal, structured way of doing it. And I learned her process, and it's worked for me very well. And then I opened up my business, to try to help other people. And I'm so happy to say that tomorrow I'm actually going to be starting the master teachers for the Time Heals. So I'm really excited about growing my awareness and abilities to be able to help others.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I can vouch for that, because I did one with Terry, and I never heard of that before ever. And we did it one day, and it was like, and I felt it. I actually really felt it, and it was like, whoa, is this really happening? Is this really taking place? So there's something about that whole energy transference. Now, how do you know it's just like not energy, or it's not like a placebo, or that it really is from a divine source like the angels? How do people, how do you know that? How do you get that message out to skeptical people
The message about
about whether it's just coming from the angels, or if it's just a placebo, or if it's just like just an energy transfers, or what, like what, How do you know it's the angels?
It's the feeling that I get. And what I do is beforehand, before I was introduced to the time, I would always pray for, they have a different energy about them. It's kind of like you walk into a room and, you can feel like it's really thick energy and you're like, may use the expression, it was so thick you could cut it with a knife. It's the same way, except their energy is a very loving, and it's like being hugged when I'm around them or I feel them around me. And it is, you definitely, for me, I definitely pick up the different energy. I don't right now see colors, although sometimes I will see colors, and I am actually at this time starting to actually see the figures of the angels. And that part of it is growing, but they all have different feelings of the energy. The energy feels different for each of the angels that come forward. And I actually don't have to talk anyone into believing whether I'm telling the truth or not. It was a big hurdle to cross, and I figure those that want to believe will believe, those that don't won't. And
Right.
I'm not here to try to convince them or make them leave a path or anything like that, because I believe that there's many ways to go to God, and just like there's many languages, I believe there's one God, but there's a lot of different ways to go to Him. And I respect everyone's religion and everything, and I would say that the people that I have interaction with, actually, their comments are they feel the energy in, because I actually go into the body. For me, I actually put myself in their body, and I can feel their physical pains that they have. And when I go around their auras and I feel the auras, I can feel the difference in the energy, and the colors also have different feelings of the energy. I hope that explains it a little bit for you.
It does, yeah, it does. I actually like the way you explain it, because you made it pretty basic, pretty clear, and you respect everybody else's religions and what have you. The angels have been, I mean, people have been talking about the writing about them, like for thousands of years, So there are sources out there that we don't know about, that it's so cool to have to be able to get that connection. What do you think? When I mentioned my story why I felt it was a blue light, what do you think who or what do you think that was?
The blue light would be Archangel Michael.
Okay.
And he's a protector. You can call upon him like in emergencies, like like you did, or he actually came to you. If you didn't call him, he actually came to you to let you know that everything was okay.
I couldn't even press the call light for the nurses.
Oh.
No, I was totally out of it. I was like, I was brought up Catholic, so they brought in the priests and my family, and they all sat around, prayed. They gave me the last rites twice. They gave me they prayed the rosary and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, I was out. I mean, I was like, I had a couple of my legs on the banana peel.
Oh my goodness. It was definitely Archangel Michael, and he was letting you know that everything was okay and that you were protected. He does work along with the other archangels, and so that's definitely who came to visit you, and what an honor to have him, kind of watching over you like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So now what do you now you have a website, and you put like at events? Do you coach? Do you do what do you do as far as with this whole thing?
Okay, I have a group called Hosting the Archangels on Facebook. And our next event is April 23rd through April 28th, and those are the 5 days. And when I do this event, I number the post so that the people that are hosting the angels can actually follow along with it, to have, kind of the daily instructions. And I put up, some inspirational type of messages during the event. And when I first started hosting the Archangels group, I actually did everything by hand. I would connect people with other people that were looking, because where they were looking for hosts. And what it is when you host the angels after 5 days, you kind of want to pass them on to someone who may need them but are willing to take them. And so I kind of lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry.
I'm almost thinking of like guests coming into your house, like you're having like relatives come over.
It doesn't matter where you live. You can actually, you open the door and you greet them, and you have a white candle, one white flower, and an apple, and you're actually you make 3 wishes: one for yourself, one for your family, and one for Mother Earth. And it's not to worship them. It's just to tell them, thank you for being around in my life. And
kind of a ritual sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's a prayer. It's just something that you either can follow along, or you can say from your heart, welcome into my home. And the energy really changes. Animals pick up when they're in there. And on my website, there are other people who have taken pictures, and you can see the different colors of lights and the experiences. So it's really fabulous experience to have. I also have a website. It's Healing Light with LisaJo.com, and all my services and will be listed on there. It's still a work in progress. And you can also find me on Facebook as on a business page that I have there. It's Blessings Be Angelic Healings. So that's kind of what I have going on so far. And then I have your show that I was graciously invited to.
I'm going to type it in chat right now. That's Healing Light with Lisa?
Joe.
With LisaJo.com?
Yes. Yes, J-O.
Let's see if I typed it in properly here. Now, what I'll do inside the video. Oh no, I didn't. I did something wrong. I always do something wrong. I mean, I shouldn't say I always do something wrong. I don't like to speak negative things to myself, but sometimes my typing is not always the best. That's all. But what I'll do when this video comes out later on this morning, I will put these links inside there and stuff like that, so people can get a hold of you.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Light with LisaJo.
Yes, sir.
Now, Lisa, what? Because this is the gratitude show. Who are you grateful for, or what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for God for allowing me to live, for answering my request when I said, okay, I'm living and you let me live. So what is it that you want me to do, and how may I serve you? And I truly wake up every morning and I'm very grateful to be alive. I've always been grateful for my family and all the things that I've been blessed with, but I've always kind of halfway been into my spiritual side. And I think the biggest gratitude is learning about my spiritual side even more, and being able to help other people find their truth and find their own path and get them started on their path to their spiritualism. And to me, that's that brings a lot of gratitude and gratefulness to me. And it really pleases me because I know that I'm doing what God wanted me to do. And I truly have found and am grateful for having found my life purpose. And I've had lots of jobs before, but nothing comes close to this, what I'm doing. And I love it. And I can work at home. So that's even better.
Almost like a ministry, huh? Kind of. It's almost like you're.
Well, okay. That'll work, but I'm not official. But yes, it is definitely ministering God's word.
That is wonderful. That is fun. Can anybody like tap into that power, that source, or does it?
Yes, anybody can. Everyone's born with gifts. Whether it's seeing, hearing, some people just call it their intuition, and that's all they're going to call it. But I do, after my experience with everything I've had, and I've had the comparison of before and after, everyone has gifts, and it's whether you tune into them or not. And if you have gifts and you're not really sure, you can do meditation, and you don't have to be, you can start off slowly with, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. But to me, meditating is, you don't always have to chant anything. You can just sit there and try to be quiet and ask for messages to come through. And during this time, if you're not disciplined in the mind, your mind's going to throw little thoughts into your thinking and distract you. And all you have to do is, okay, yeah, let it go and just go forward. But basically, it's just being quiet within. You can ask for signs that they're hearing you, or if you ask them a question and they're saying, I really would like, to get a job interview or something. And it may not be realistic where you live, but as long as you let them know out loud that you need their assistance, they're there to help you, and they will help you open those doors for you. And it may not be always in the way that you thought something was going to happen, but it'll actually happen. And I think learning to listen to that intuition, you're actually connecting to your higher self. And if it is your desire to work with the angels, you just just get to know each one separately. And like, you could start with Archangel Michael, because he's a good one for protecting yourself and for when you travel. And he's a good one to, like, maybe read up a little bit on. And you could ask him, in your quiet time, Archangel Michael, can you, be with me and let me know that you're here? And sometimes you'll get a really warm feeling. And that's okay, because that's a confirmation that he is there with you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, because I know that God is always with us.
Yes.
It's not something we have to call on. God is just there, and obviously He sent, he sends His angels to us if and when we need it at different times. So I'm a believer in that for sure, absolutely for sure. Now, is it before we go? We're almost out of time here. Because I heard it, do you have to call out an angel in order to? I didn't, obviously, and but do you have to? Do the angels come when you call on them, or because I heard you have to call them? They're not really necessarily going to come in unless you call on them. So what's that?
When you the thing is, we have free will. Humans all have free will and everything, and the angels can't really interfere unless God has sent them on a mission, like He did with you. And so when you call upon them, you're asking them for help, and then they can come in and say, okay, she's asking for help, or he's asking for help, so let's get in there and help. However, like, if you're in a situation where you don't know which angel to call out, you could say, angel of protection, I need an angel of protection. And of course, Archangel Michael would show up. Or I need the, archangel for healing, and that would be Archangel Raphael. So even if you're not really sure who to call out to, you could say, I want the angel of mercy, or anything like that. They will still come even if you don't know their names. So, but it is nice to actually speak the words, and they will come. They're always right around us. They're just waiting for us to say, "Can you come in and help me?"
Come on in, guys.
Come on in.
It's been fun. Well, Lisa, this has been just a great show. I really appreciate all your insight, and I'm not blown away that you had this spontaneous bleeding like this. Like, oh my gosh, that's incredible, and I'm so happy that you're okay. You're here, and you're doing such great work that you're doing out there. So it just is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Before we go, we've got well, no, we don't even have any more time. But do you have any last thing that you want to mention? Any other way people can get a hold of you or anything before we go?
You can just contact me either on Facebook, Lisa Jo Davis, or you can just go onto the website and you can, connect that way. And I have a mailing list if you would like to be added on there, and that will let you know all the future events that we have coming up.
Okay, that's wonderful. I will put all your links inside of the.
Thank you.
When this thing comes out. So I just want to mention tomorrow we're having a returning guest, Debbie Hampton. She's got an amazing blog out there called The Best Brain Possible. Now, Debbie Hampton, she actually tried to commit suicide because she had depression years ago. She suffered brain damage. Her speech was really affected. I had her on my show a couple of years ago. I had a radio show called The Incredible Breakthrough Show. She didn't want to be on because her voice was so bad. Was still messed up from the brain damage that she had, but she was on last month, and she's incredible. She's an incredible person. So if you get a chance, come tomorrow and check out Debbie Hampton, The Best Brain Possible. Well, Lisa, thank you so much. This has been just a blessing. I honor what you're doing, and so I'll be talking to you. And thank you so much again for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Talk to you later. Bye bye.